You go bow for the result, though. Nothing to discuss, cause I did win by default and without any doubt, though. I'm a me, I be a daughter. I no go feed the girl, I no go feed the girl, is out, though.
Ways suspended near the images and statues of Osiris. The skin of a leopard was worn as a mantle, over the ceremonial dress of his priests. Besides, when represented as king of the Amenti of the West, the symbol of Osiris was always a crouching leopard with an open eye over it. We must not lose sight of the fact that the leopard skin worn by Nimrod and Bacchus was a sacred appendage to the mysteries. It was used in the Eleusinian as well as in the Egyptian mysteries instituted in honor of Osiris. It is mentioned in the earliest speculations by the Brahmins on the meaning of their sacrificial prayers, the Ailareya Brahmana, and is used in the Aguishloma, the initiation rites of the Soma mysteries. When the neophyte is to be born again, he is covered with a leopard skin, out of which he emerges as from his mother's womb. A leopard skin is worn by the African war.
A panther is a melanistic cover variant of the panthera, and particularly of a leopard, paradis in Asia and Africa, and the jaguar in America. Tigre, as it is generally known throughout Spanish America, is the largest, handsomest of the animal cats. It is the size and deep yellow color, profusely marked with black spots as rosettes, giving it as close resemblance to the African leopard. It is, however, a heavier and more powerful animal. In part of the dense tropical forests of South America, coal-black jaguars occur, and while representing merely a color phrase, and are popularly supposed to be such fiercer than ordinary animals, jaguars are characteristic animals of the tropic in both Americas and frequently alike in the low jungles of the arid parts as well as the great forests of the humid regions. In addition, they range south into Argentina and north into the southwestern United States. Although less numerous within our borders, formerly they still occur as rare visitants as far north as Middle Texas, Middle New Mexico, and northern Arizona. They are so strictly nocturnal that their presence in our territory is unusually not suspected until after a depredation on stock, usually attributed to mountain lions. A trap or poison is put out and reveal a jaguar as the offender. Several have been killed in the way within our borders during the last 10 years, including one not far from the tourist hotel at the Grand Canyon of Arizona. Although the largest and most powerful, the jaguar has none of the torrential ferocity of the African leopard. During the years I spent in the country, mainly in the open, I made careful inquiries without hearing a single case where they had attacked a human being. So far as I could learn, it has particularly the same shy and cowardly nature as the mountain lion. Despite this, the natives throughout the tropical home have a great fear of El Tigre, as I saw evidence repeatedly in Mexico appearing, and the fear is based wholly on the strength and potential ability to harm man. If it is so desired, the jaguar are very destructive to the large great game birds and animals of their domain, and the horses and the cattle on ranches. In many large tropical ranches, Tigrero, or the tiger hunter, with a small pack of mongrel dogs, is maintained, whose duty is to immediately to take up a trial when a tiger makes its presence known, usually by killing cattle. mountain lion, and the jaguar. Red and gray faces of the jaguar on the cat of ear. So you hear human sacrifice scene in the Temple of the Tigers. This book comes out of the Temple of the Itza. You download it, you might be able to find it somewhere, but it's supposedly on the wall of the Temple of the Tigers, which has the sacrifice of a light-skinned individual down here. If you notice, these dark-skinned people seem to get a kick out of this shit, so seems to be a little beef going on. Chilico Tuscanugi, aka Tiger Tail, died in New Orleans, allegiance of the Seminoles. This is looking west along the north corridor towards the Temple of the Tiger. You see.
Under my command, no one plays with their life.
Color. Additionally, the shape within those rosettes will frequently be slightly darker than the background color found between them. Finally, we have the leopard, the largest of the three. Found throughout Central and Southern Africa, as well as large swaths of the Middle East, India, parts of China, and Southeast Asia, they are considered the most powerful of the three. The design found is a little bit more family-friendly. In it, a new beings with the heads of larger cats and sometimes other feline parts. Worship of these gods essentially spawned the divinity of cats of all kinds, especially stronger, more dominating ones like the leopard and panther. Many of their legends and tales tell of large cats and deities taking their shapes. There is even one tale of how Horus and Anubis were hunting another god, Set. As Set hid, he took the form of a leopard, which at the time was no more different than a lion. Because Horus was up above in the sky, he was unable to spot him, but Anubis was able to sniff him out. Now, there are two versions of how this tale ended. Both involve Anubis marking Set for all to see. The first is a little bit more family-friendly. In it, Anubis walked into the mud of the Nile, getting his paws covered. He then surprised Set by jumping onto him and pressing his paws all over his fur, thus creating the print. The second is a bit more intense, seeing him brand Set with a hot iron over and over across his body, then flaying his skin and wearing it for all to see as a warning. And that is, according to the ancient Egyptians, how leopards got their spots. So, numerous items such as clothing, furniture, and furnishings. As the Egyptian Empire began going downhill, right across the Mediterranean, the Greeks were rising. Soon they too would look upon leopards and their print with great reverence. It was here a deity began being worshipped by the name of Dionysius. Seen as the god of the wild and of primal forces, along with wine and dance, he was considered sophisticated, though was often depicted as something of a wild man who loved to party, often with a pair of leopards at his side. But a more significant usage of the print came by way of the Amazons, warrior women who were frequently associated with Greek mythology and often said to be the offspring of Ares and Harmonia. One such tale during the invasion of Troy told of how Achilles found himself in the midst of battle with a great Amazonian warrior, Penthesilea, who was adorned with the skin of a leopard. Though Achilles slew her in the fight, he had loved her, and even after death she had a grasp over him. However, this was only but a brief stop, as soon after the Romans, by way
Tree of Fusang, Mulberry, Tree of Life. Balam, or a Mayan god represented by a black jaguar. The word comes from Guanari Chamriti, jaguar. The suffix ete means beast of prey. The word entered English presumably via Amazonian trade language in the Tupinamba, where you find your blacks of the land or your Negros de terra. Revered by every tribe from the indigenous people of the United States. For some Native Americans, the word meant he who kills with one blow. And in the mythology of the pre-Columbian Americans, the black jaguar was widely seen as a god in Peru, Mexico, or Guatemala, to name a few. Mayan, Aztecs, Incans, they all worshiped the jaguar in every form. In the mausoleum of deities, the jaguar was second only to the snake god in the religious importance. At the temple of the jaguar in Chichen Itza, the Mayan king had to walk beneath a frieze of a procession of jaguars during a coronation ceremony. It was an icon for the brave hunter and warrior who created military orders of jaguar soldiers. Their members were the most valiant and highly acclaimed god kings, warriors, and priests added the jaguar epithet to their names, balam, burnishing their reputation with the symbol of prestige and power. And only the most elite of the warriors and kings could use their black or spotted pelts. The Mayan mythology in the jaguar was seen as one of the rulers of Zabala, the underworld, and as such a symbol of the night, sun, and darkness. There were Mayan priests called balam who officiated at only the most important ceremonies. Along with the Aztecs and Mayans, the Incans also built temples dedicated to the jaguar. For them, the jaguar was representative of the power and ferocity and valor. It was the embodiment of aggressiveness. It represented the power to face one's fears, to confront one's enemies. However, they are also associated with vision and ability to see during the night and to look into the dark parts of a human's heart. The Mayan shamans and the sight of the black jaguar announced catastrophe or disaster associated with the omen of foreknowledge of things to come. In mentioning Balam, the Umalaks, or the Umixcox, the Lord of the Fields, the learned professor of archaeology of the University of Pennsylvania confounds him with the Sharks, the gods of rain and the guardians of the cardinal points. These Balams say they are in fact the gods of the cardinal points and of the winds and rains which precede them. And to prove his assertion, he covers several pages of his book with idle tales known to everybody. They are current today among the natives who beguile the evening hours by recounting them over and over. These stories have no relation with the ancient traditions. They contain as much teaching as the stories as Puss in Boots or Bluebeard. We have seen that the Chalks were gods of rain and such held keepers of the field. Influenced the cartographer at least that the Walter-Muller naming more accepted among the explorers, pushing the Native American connection further in appearance that the Carib word Amerique, meaning great and high and prominent, and it was used especially for the mountains to the west of the Mosquito Seacoast lands, connecting the name to the highest cultures of Mesoamerica. Novelist John Carew the Guyana has asserted that the root of Amerique was a Mayan word for the land of the strong wind and land of the spirit, land of soul. Other theories have attached the name of America to the Vikings and the Old Norse Amalric, meaning the furthest outland, which term derived from the Amalric or the kingdom of heaven, or the Scandinavian or district, as Eric the Viking explorer and Leif Erikson. Some England authors have argued that the name derives from Richard Amalric, a merchant of Bristol who sponsored a journey of John Cabot, Giovanni Cabot, the Italian who enabled England to claim Canada. Another claim invokes that the Algonquin Indian word Amerique, according to some members of the Church of Jesus Christ of the Latter-day Saints. Their Book of Mormon contains a place named Amaric or America, both of which contain with the Semitic Melech or king. By Mormon theory, Semitic words would have been widespread in America because of the lost tribes of, you get where they going.